Our co-main event of the evening at super middleweight, Eddie Farrell versus Ngaman. Seconds away from the start of this, our co-main event, WLC legendary champions. Super middleweight division scheduled for 5 rounds. Ngaman versus Eddie Farrell. The bell in round number 1. Blue trunks for Ngaman, red trunks for Farrell. Farrell already setting on the outside, trying to use his length, use his jab. Ngaman to the inside immediately with the hard clinch. Ngaman right back to his feet. Joe, this fight really could become all about range, and it's Farrell who wants the outside range.
Yeah, you can see he's the much taller fighter, much longer fighter. Not nearly as much experience, though, as Ngaman.
Inside kick.
Right there.
That's a slip. Ngaman right back to his feet. Overhand right to the inside. That's Farrell who initiates that clinch. 2:05 remaining round number 1. Hard body kick. Smirk on the face of Ngaman. What hasn't he seen over the course of 190 fights? The answer, most likely, is nothing.
Yeah, I'm sure he's seen it all, and he knows, against a tall, rangy fighter, he's going to have to do a lot of this inside fighting, try to make it a little dirty, especially in the beginning.
See the posturing, the mugging on the face of Ngaman. Trying to take Eddie Farrell off of his game. Again, the smirk after Farrell lands the outside kick. Ngaman right back to the inside, trying to solve this range. 120 remaining now, round number 1. The clinch, but Joe, still very much a feeling out process between these two fighters.
Yeah, without a doubt, right now Farrell looks really comfortable out on the outside. But that's where he needs to keep the fight. If he's having success there, he needs to use that length, try to do as much damage as he can, especially early. He can try to take a jump on this fight.
Locking on the plump, Ngaman trying to turn Farrell. Farrell turns his back, moving dangerously on the exit. He can attack from 360 degrees on the feet in World Left Championship. But a squeeze there, almost a standing guillotine position in jiu-jitsu and MMA. Oh, look, that's not a cut, just a lump over the right brow of Eddie Farrell. Farrell pleading his case to no avail in a medical timeout. See the swelling, but again, not a cut. Safety first here in World Left Championship. Farrell indicating he has no difficulty with the vision out of his right eye. Medical timeout over, time in, round number 1 resumes. Head kick from Farrell. Simultaneous kicks, neither landing. Ngaman right back to the inside.
Yeah, and hard to see there, but a lot of really short headbutts. That I'm sure that comes with experience, and that might be why we have the cut over the eye there.
But it's the mouse under the right eye that is popped, and that's where the blood is coming from. Ngaman reacting as though he has won this fight, but again, it's just a medical timeout. It's actually 2 cuts now. The mouse is popped under the right eye, and a cut also outside of the right eyebrow on the face of Eddie Farrell.
And we'll see on the replay too, I think those are from really short headbutts on the inside. And that's the kind of stuff you learn from having so many fights like Ngaman. Gets in, and even though you feel safe because he's not at a far range, those short little headbutts, it doesn't take much to make a big cut.
The bell, the end of round number 1.
shorter fighter too. The top of his head is landing right in the eye of Farrell, and that's why we've seen 2 cuts, and that's been the most damage in the whole fight.
Seconds out, seconds out.
Eddie Farrell cut in 2 separate locations on his face by Ngaman in round number 1, outside of his right brow and under his right eye. Also, heavy swelling over his right eye. The reason for the medical timeout. The first one around number 1. The second medical timeout was because of those 2 cuts. Head kick from range from Farrell to start round number 2. Ngaman right back to the inside. Short left hands. Ngaman so composed on the inside, Joe. Big left hand. Farrell trying to work to the plum.
Yeah, if I'm Farrell's corner, I'm telling him to make sure this fight's happening at kickboxing range, not getting involved in those clinches. He's getting eaten up in there from lack of experience, and he has a lot of success on the outside. If there's a clinch initiated, it should be from Ngaman and not Farrell, because he's having much more luck out here at range.
Ngaman, textbook on the clean, effective use of those headbutts, just like in that sequence. Leading in with his head, making it so difficult for Farrell with those short, sharp headbutts effectively in the clinch, just in these situations. Good turn by Farrell. Ngaman nearly through the ropes. Quick restart, right back to it. Hook to get in from Ngaman, back to the inside. That is nasty swelling under the right eye of Eddie Farrell. And that mouth popping around number 1, flowing blood. 90 seconds remain round number 2. Farrell down to his feet, draws a smile. Farrell pointing to his mouthpiece and taking out a mouthpiece of his own.
No, I think he's saying that he doesn't have a mouthpiece. And Ngaman's like, hey, I had 200 fights almost, I don't need one.
Interesting that Farrell would complain about his opponent's lack of a mouthpiece. Farrell really upset now in the ring. Perhaps Farrell claiming that he was being bit by Ngaman. We certainly did not see it, Joe. That was a hard accusation by Farrell.
Yeah, he seemed awful upset, though, just to think that it was because his opponent didn't have a mouth guard in, so there must be something more going on.
Again, you see that headbutt. Legal here under our Rules Set World Referee Championship.
Yeah, and the difference between Ngaman and a lot of the other guys we've seen tonight is that there's no big setup on it. It's a very small movement from a very close range. And he's been able to land it successfully a lot.
Ngaman is doing the little things well in this fight and from close distance. This is the distance Farrell wants, and that distance solved once again by Ngaman. Down go both fighters. Ngaman landing his full body weight on top of Farrell. Seeing all of these veteran moves from Ngaman. That is the end of round number 2.
so short. He lands little headbutts, little punches to the body and head. Has just really dominated the clinch phase of this fight. And Farrell's had some luck on the outside. He just hasn't been able to keep the fight there. Ngaman, the crafty veteran, just keeps getting to the inside and doing damage with short strikes.
He comes in with this hand side. Yeah. He leans this direction, so that's when you're kicking right. Yes. He comes in like this because.
Seconds out. Seconds out.
Ngaman, Eddie Farrell, round number 3, our co-main event. Super middleweight division, WLC 3 legendary champions. To the National Indoor Stadium in absolutely stunning Yangon, Myanmar. Ngaman so composed, continually solving the reach and range advantage of Eddie Farrell, who clearly, Joe, wants to keep this fight on the outside.
Yeah, and I think that's making him be a little reluctant to throw hard now from the outside. You know, we're just seeing the residual effects of all the good decisions that have been made by the veteran Ngaman so far. Now that Farrell doesn't want to open up because he can't get clinched, Ngaman's open a little bit more up from the outside, and then we find ourselves right back in this familiar place where the fight's really getting taken to Farrell by Ngaman.
Joe, I think the most effective strike for Ngaman in this fight has been the headbutt from this position. Farrell now holding the plum. See the body work. Elbow from Farrell. On the takedown. Long, hard look by Ngaman as he gets back up off of the canvas. Farrell just doesn't have an answer for those short inside headbutts of Ngaman. See the 2 cuts on his face, both opened up in round number 1. Outside of his right brow, and mouth, the pocket of blood that popped under his right eye. Good inside kick from Farrell. Ngaman then right back to the inside. 25 remaining round number 3. Farrell back to the plum, but not throwing from the plum. Using it defensively rather than offensively.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of fight we're in right now. Farrell's constantly concerned about this clinch fighting and the headbutt. It's stopping him from letting go of his good strikes at range. It's stopping him from looking for your normal knees or elbows that he would from in here. Just took another good headbutt. This is just really smart fighting by Ngaman.
Another medical timeout, the 3rd of this fight. All 3 medical timeouts, Joe. Ngaman has celebrated as though he has won the fight. See the treatment for the cut, which is on the outside of the right brow. Short medical timeout. Time in. Farrell straight punches, and trying to use his reach, trying to work off of the jab. Front teep kick from Ngaman. Head kick from Farrell. A bit more snap on that kick. Closing stages now, round number 3. What we're seeing though, Joe, from Eddie Farrell at this stage of the fight, 1 strike at a time.
Yeah, I really feel like he's being timid from the outside now. He's really being a lot more offensive from the outside early on in the fight. But every time he'd miss, he'd get clinched and take a bunch of headbutts, and that's where Ngaman's won most of this fight. So now even the use of the clinch has affected the rangy part of the fight, which is really good strategy for the veteran Ngaman.
So Ngaman, the level change, the dip of the head, right back, pressing on the chest of Eddie Farrell. The bell, we are headed to the 4th round.
Seconds out.
Seconds out called. Saw Ngaman acting as a man who was in full control of this fight. Hardly a word spoken in his corner between rounds 3 and 4. Much more animated in the corner of Eddie Farrell.
Round
4 underway. Outside kick from Ngaman. Throw with the teep kick. Backs off Ngaman, taking him off of his striking line. High inside kick from Farrell.
I think those are the best techniques for Farrell to be using at this point. You know, he's clearly losing this fight on the inside, so he needs to use his longer techniques, his teep kicks, his jab, try to catch Ngaman coming in with maybe short elbows or big punches, but in the meantime, keep him on the outside instead of finding himself back in the clinch all the time.
So Ngaman again coming right back to the inside. You see the headbutt there. He's using the height advantage of Eddie Farrell in the clinch with those headbutts as a disadvantage for Farrell. Getting under, really hitting those headbutts, Joe, up and under.
Yeah, it's not very often that being, tall in a kickboxing fight doesn't help, but this is really an instance where Ngaman is taking away that range completely by utilizing the clinch. And when he's doing so, he's being crafty. He looks like a guy that's had the number of fights that he's had. He's in there, he's not expending a ton of energy, being very efficient, and making those little strikes count really big time. Just small little headbutts whenever they're open and they're in the clinch. And definitely frustrating for Farrell too. You can see it on his face, and you can tell by the way he's fighting. It's made him change up his strategy, and so far Ngaman's just really using that experience to take over this fight.
120 remaining, round number 4. Farrell, to his credit, taking a lot of punishment. Those 2 nasty cuts outside of his right brow, under his right eye, swelling and abrasions all over his face. He continues. Farrell fully dedicating not just his career, but his life to striking into left lead. Clinch to the inside, Ngaman. 45 seconds remaining round number 4. Again, you see that up and under headbutt. Ngaman leaping into that headbutt. Legal and effective techniques.
It's really fun to watch here in WLC and just see how that one rule change completely changes a fight. I feel that this fight would be much different without that one rule change, which is that the headbutts are legal. And Ngaman has fought under these rules and is able to take advantage of that, when, as Farrell, you can tell, is more used to a more traditional kickboxing style and hasn't been able to have success in those clinches.
Ngaman making sure again, you see that twice now, that he lands full body weight on top of Farrell. See the confidence of Ngaman, hands at his waist as we end round number 4. We are headed to the 5th final round.
Some of the action there, we saw another headbutt and short punches. You know, that's been the bulk of the offense from Ngaman. Farrell had a little bit better luck that round in keeping the fight at distance, but wasn't really able to land anything real significant. For the most part, all the best strikes in this fight have come from inside the clinch, and they've come from Ngaman with either headbutts or little short punches. Very technical in there and just not using a lot of energy. Great strategy by the veteran there, and you know, Farrell, although he had a little bit more range during that round, wasn't able to capitalize on it. Finds himself in a pretty big hole heading into the final round here.
Seconds out, seconds out.
A maximum of 3 minutes remain in this our co-main event. WLC 3 legendary champions in the super middleweight division. Ngaman versus Eddie Farrell.
Round 5.
Myanmar versus Australia here in Yangon. Thus far, almost all in favor of Myanmar. Ngaman. Farrell has had his moments from the outside. Those moments immediately switched in terms of momentum to Ngaman, who takes his fight just like that, Joe, to the inside.
Yeah, and when he does it, it's unbelievable how quick he is and accurate with those little short headbutts. You know, I think that exaggerating the headbutt would make it harder to land. It's so short, sometimes it's hard to even see him do it. But right when he gets in, he's getting to work, you know, using the top of his head against the softer part of Farrell's face, which has given him a lot of success, especially with the couple cuts that we saw in the first round.
But to the point in the fight where we're going to talk about Farrell's toughness, which really means that he's taking big shots and is losing, but is still there.
Right, yeah, definitely durable. I mean, you could say that about him, and he's looked good at sometimes from range, but, you know, I think that the more he gets to fight under these rule sets, more than likely the better he'll do in these clinching positions, and you know, he's also fighting a legend in there. You know, he's coming in taking on a very tough opponent, but he hasn't had a lot of luck thus far in the fight.
People's skin reacts differently on cuts, on abrasions, on swelling, but look at the face with that in mind of Eddie Farrell, and look at the face of Ngaman. Ngaman down there. Second time he's been down in this fight. Second time it's ruled a slip. No protest from Farrell. Ngaman's face, other than a slight abrasion on the bridge of his nose, relatively clean. Ngaman out through the ropes. Sportingly, Farrell doesn't pounce. Right back to the center of the ring. Ngaman down again. Bit awkward here in the 5th and final round. Now the 15th and final minute of this fight.
Yeah, I think that, you know, Farrell knows he's far behind. Ngaman knows he's far ahead. You know, we'll see on the replay if any of those are actual knockdowns, but either way, Farrell's got short time to make up a big deficit as far as the scoring in this fight. He's going to pretty much have to knock him out to win.
Ngaman making sure that he pushed off of the stomach of Farrell as he stood. Using so many veteran moves, so much skill and technique as well for Ngaman. This fight clearly has belonged to the legendary striker from Myanmar, Ngaman. Final 15 seconds remaining in this bout. Valiant from Farrell, but just too much from Ngaman. And now time called, and Farrell celebrates on the medical timeout. I believe that would be known as a moral victory for Eddie Farrell. He's had very little to celebrate. Very slight swelling, very slight cut. Right eyebrow in the face of Ngaman. Interesting reaction from Farrell on the medical timeout. Time in, touch of hands, final seconds now of this fight. Then Ngaman going down. He's landed limited strikes in round 5, but he's landed a lot of strikes and a lot of effective headbutts through the opening 4 rounds. And that is the end of this bout.
Yeah, that was the best round for Farrell, but, you know, probably too little, too late. You know, Ngaman probably was aware he could take that round off and still win this fight. And that allowed Farrell to have some success there in the 5th round, a little bit from range, fought hard in the clinch. And then we even had the doctor take a look at Ngaman for a second there right at the very end of the fight. But just lots of good action throughout the fight, and it was really a story of Ngaman controlling the range of the fight. He felt comfortable in the clinch. He kept getting to the clinch repeatedly, using short punches, shorter headbutts, and just constantly doing damage to Farrell. Farrell wasn't able to keep it on the outside where he was having his most luck. So, you know, I think overall a good fight, but a fight that was won by the veteran Ngaman pretty clearly at that.
Ngaman seemingly taking off virtually all of round number 5. The feeling, and I believe rightly so, that he was comfortably ahead after the opening 4 rounds. Relatively strong finish for Eddie Farrell, and again, showed heart, durability, toughness, a lot of character. But in all likelihood, this is going to be win number 91 on Ngaman. We shall see.
Yeah, you know, I think he lost this fight due to some things like, you know, it's a different rule set. And he's also fighting a guy that's just got so many fights as such a veteran under that rule set. And, you know, I think that was really the difference here. Again, I said at one point in the fight, you take that one rule away in this fight. This fight is a more traditional style fight without the headbutts. And we're going to have a much closer fight on our hands there. But that's not the kind of fight we're in. Ngaman is a veteran of this style of fighting and really took advantage of that and showed us why he's a legend here in Myanmar.
Both fighters now brought to the center of the ring. Stepping into the ring, our outstanding ring announcer from the United States, Mike Markham, to read the official decision.
Presenting the award to the winner, Uso Nang of Wilson So Enterprise Limited. We go to the judges' scorecards. Your winner by unanimous decision from the blue corner, Ngaman.
Huge ovation here in Yangon for Ngaman. Really no doubt, no suspense. After that 5-round performance, especially performance in rounds 1 through 4 for Ngaman. At age 35, he just keeps on rolling, Joe.
Yeah, that's, you know, 35 years old with around 200 fights and still active. It's pretty impressive, and that's why they call him the legend. Sean, we just saw it in action.
Ngaman, and these numbers bear repeating, 91 victories, only 4 defeats, 96 draws, still very relevant in this remarkable career. The winner, by way of unanimous decision, Ngaman defeats Farrell.